Welcome back, Pen Pals. This is Tom with Goldspot Pens. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while since we last spoke. I know it's a little late to do a top 5 for September, but that's what we're doing in this video. So let's take a look at the month that was in the world of fine writing. I'm really sorry, guys, for being so late. You know, we had a lot of work to do with the magazine that we're producing. It's going to be coming out in mid-November. It takes a ton of work, and it is something that we do. It's a labor of love. We involve Kris and Josh and myself, primarily creating content, writing, photographs, everything that you pack into a 64-page issue of fine writing goodness. That's what this catalog / magazine is all about. So it's not just your typical, like, you know, flipping through a lookbook of different pens and everything. We try to include a lot of information, resources, fun things that are part of our community that is now available in print form. Not yet, but in November. So if you're a customer of ours and you've placed orders with us in about, let's say, like the last year or so, you should probably expect to receive a catalog in your mailbox come mid-November. And this is like people that are based in the US mostly. So if you're outside the US or you haven't been a customer, you're looking to maybe place your first order with Goldspot Pens, or maybe looking just to get a magazine of pen goodness, you please do contact us. I'll put a link in the description below of where you could fill out a form, and we'll mail you a copy when it becomes available. So that's my excuse for being late. However, we'll get back to more regular content being posted throughout the rest of the year and onward. It just was a little hiccup with this whole magazine thing. So here's a quick disclaimer about this list. These top 5 pens are based on sales, likes, comments, and customer reviews on goldspot.com during September of 2020. This isn't our personal top 5 list or greatest of all time list. It's a list created by you, the fine people of the online pen community. First, we have to mention the cats. These are adorable pen holder / desk accessories that really could bring a lot of character to your work from home setup. So they come in 5 different cat designs, which of course maybe a lot of you who have cats may immediately recognize some of the different, you know, cat sort of design patterns, I guess you could say. I'm not very much a cat person, but yeah, I've seen cats that look kind of like these guys. As you may have found out if you were jumping on this pretty quick as we started to release them in September, is that you know, they're really not as, let's say, like sturdy as the crabs are. But this was the reason why we kind of went to cats, because the crabs were so amazing and people really enjoyed holding their pens with them. So these cats are a little bit on the more vertical side, and their hands don't quite come up as like far as, let's say, their ears. So that's why we really recommend, if you want to hold a pen like this Retro 51, which just toppled over there, I would probably get like a couple of them. These things are just way too adorable. They are very small, as you could see, but they are quite cute to put out on your desk. And I'm gonna just try just doing it. There we go. So you kind of have to find the right balance for these guys, and I definitely do recommend getting more than one to hold most pens. I mean, this Retro 51 pen is a little bit on the heavier side. It might be able to be easier for like a lighter weight type of pen, and also too is like, this is how they come. So if you could imagine when you were growing up, you had those machines where you put in like 25 cents or whatever, and you turn the crank and it comes out like this egg, and then whatever's on the inside. This is just harkens back to those ages of just those fun times where you'd be like in a toy store or something, and you wanted to get that little toy as you walk out of the store. They're just really fun and inexpensive. Nice little way to kind of bring a smile to your day and put a little bit more fun in your work from home setup, or on your home desk, or even your desk at work, wherever you are. These cats are pretty fun. Number 5 on our list is TWsbi time. We have the TWsbi Diamond 580 ALR Punch Pink. This is a 2020 special edition. It's a demonstrator that has a piston fill mechanism with aluminum accents. That's the AL part of ALR. And the other part of the ALR is the ringed grip section, which is also done in the matching anodized aluminum accent. The ringed section kind of gives that metal section a bit of a texture, which feels very interesting when you hold it. The punch pink comes right after or on the tails of the Prussian Blue, which is another special edition by TWSBI. This was released a little bit earlier this year, and it was an insanely successful pen. Just was amazing because we just started dealing with TWSBI this year, around in April, and this was really one of our first special editions that we started to carry, and just the response was overwhelming from our customers, which was great. I definitely appreciate it, guys. So Prussian Blue came out a little bit earlier this year. We have Punch Pink, which may not be as, let's say, I'd say like as popular as Prussian Blue is, but still was quite popular in its own right. I think the 580s and just any TWSBI special edition in general is just something that a lot of people love snapping up really quickly. I see a lot of people on Instagram or on Reddit will take a family shot of all of their 580s, all of their Ecos, and they're usually in a rainbow of different colors. And these don't usually last that long, which is another appealing aspect of these limited editions. So they're not numbered, and they're not limited to any particular quantity, but I think they just only produce them for a certain amount of time during the year, and then once that's over, that's it. The Prussian Blue we still have. The Punch Pink we just got in and just started selling in September. Another thing that you would, as a calling card of the TWSBI 580 is this diamond faceted barrel. So when you do fill up this really nice pink pen, which is more of like, I'd say like a rose pink, I don't want to necessarily call it like a very like bright or light carnation pink. It's definitely had some good saturation to it. And so would, let's say, the ink that's inside the barrel. So if you filled this up with a nice bright, let's say a pink or like even yellows would look nice. Any warm colored inks I think would look really cool through here. And you would be able to see this sloshing around inside the barrel as you're writing with it. And as it starts to become empty, and you're down to, let's say, halfway or a quarter of the way, and you just really let the ink just kind of coat on the inside of the barrel and look at the light going through those facets, it looks really, really cool. It's fascinating to kind of play around with, even as you're taking notes or just listening to somebody talk. That's what I do a lot. During meetings, sometimes I'll just play with my pens. These come with the number 5 size JoWo stainless steel nibs. They're available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, or 1.1 millimeter stub. And they start at $60, with the stub being $65 as the only exception. And for a JoWo stainless steel nib demonstrator piston fill pen, that's why these 580s are just so beloved, is that's a great price, a great value for what you get out of this pen. And this is a solid writing pen. It's not postable, although you can really, I guess, post it, but it kind of is pretty long. But we usually recommend saying don't post it because of the fact that if you do post it, then you could easily turn the piston knob as well. So you wouldn't want that, because then you're pouring ink all over out on the page. But love the feeling of this ringed grip section, and it's a JoWo stainless steel nib, so you're going to get a great out-of-the-box writing experience. So next on our list at number 4 is the Esterbrook JR, or the Junior, I guess you could say. This is inspired by the 1940s Esterbrook J, which is in its own right just one of the most beloved vintage pens that are out there. Esterbrook in general is a beloved vintage brand. A lot of those vintage Esterbrooks can be purchased at reasonable prices at pen shows or online, with the dollar pens and the J pens being some of the best values to kind of introduce yourself into the world of vintage writing. So this JR isn't necessarily just, let's say, copying the J. If it were, we'd be looking at a lever filling system and a lot of different aesthetic choices. However, this JR is more of a reimagining, a modern interpretation, if you will. It still is a pocket-sized, sort of slimmer type of pen, a lot like other vintage type pens that tend to be a little bit on the smaller side of things. It is a thinner type pen, and it's made out of this beautiful pearlescent and chatoyant acrylic, available in 3 different colors. This is the Capri Blue, there's Tuxedo Black, and Carmine Red. They use a JoWo number 5 stainless steel nib. This one's in gold-plated finish. However, the other two are just regular stainless steel. They are available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and a 1.1 millimeter stub. Very similar to the TWSBIs we were just talking about. They use a international style converter or cartridge. So you see it's installed already here. So you get both. It's a pretty good adaptable type of pen to use either cartridges or bottled ink. This particular model I'm looking at here, I just love the gold and blue. I think that's a classy look. It looks like a very rich looking pen, especially with a lot of the metal bands, the metal finial that's here, then the gold top that has the Esterbrook Infinity logo up top here. And the clip was styled very similarly to the original Esterbrook J, although it's quite a bit longer than that. And then you have the cap band that has the Esterbrook logo engraved on it, which is also gold plated as well. Just a really exceptionally well done pen, even though it's a little bit on the smaller side, definitely a lot smaller than the Esterbrook Estes, which we've seen here on the channel quite a few times. But this is great because it accommodates for people who, you know, really prefer let's say a slimmer, smaller pen, a nice pocket pen that you could just stash with you that really has like a very elegant look. It's not, it doesn't sacrifice itself on like, you know, having a very like inexpensive or cheap look to it. It's a very, very rich looking pen. I mean, even though it is a pocket pen, when you post the cap on the back and the cap posts really nice and secure, it does feel like a good sized pen. And even though it does have a big step from the barrel to the cap, it's rounded at this cap portion here, so it feels pretty comfortable as you hold it and you write with it. Really the only issue that I would have, being that I have fairly normal hands, I don't have very small hands, is, you know, the grip section's a little bit on the smaller side, but it does kind of indent, concave itself here where you could have a pretty nice grip on the pen. However, it's just very small. But that's my own personal thing. Like I said, I think it's for people who really like a slimmer, smaller type of pen and feel more comfortable writing with it like that. It's great to be able to offer this in the line of Esterbrook's, and, you know, be able to also pay homage to such a great pen that built that brand and continues to keep the brand relevant throughout this transition as they go towards a more modern version of the company. It is gift boxed in this really nice Esterbrook gift box that is common to the Estes as well. It includes the cartridge that's in there, a nice little plush seating that's in there. And it also includes a polishing cloth that's red with the Esterbrook Infinity logo. So nice overall presentation. It is $175 retail, which is actually less expensive than the Este, on sale for $140 at goldspot.com. At number 3 on our list is this beauty right here. This is the Platinum 3776 Century Shiun Limited Edition. This is the 4th edition of the Fuji Shunkei series that we covered in a previous video. We talked about the lineage of this yearly limited edition. We talked about all of the various components of it, but we want to kind of go over this again, as this is the 3rd most popular pen of September 2020. Shiun is actually inspired by the purple clouds that hover over Mount Fuji sometimes, that are considered to be auspicious and in good fortune in nature. The diamond-shaped facets on here are able to refract the light that comes upon it and are cut in sort of like a concave arc. So it's not something necessarily you would see like in photography, and I'm trying to get it so that you could see this on a video. But it's really difficult to just fully appreciate the beauty of this pen and just the uniqueness of it. Platinum has been able to do some really ridiculous things with faceting and cutting their resins, and despite the fact that this appears to just be like any other demonstrator type pen, the way that they work with the resin is just amazing. It just truly is a work of art, and the reason why this series is so popular is because these editions, they're only available, like this edition's only available with 3,776 pieces, and that's it. So the other editions like Kumpo and Roka, they're gone. That's it. They made nothing that looks like it ever again, possibly ever again. I can't say that it's definite, But something like this with this very unique design, so they don't just like slap on a new color and just call it a day. They completely redesign these things and take the time into coming up with a very unique sort of pattern that works with this resin that they use for this pen. And it's a very nice light kind of like grape popsicle sort of purple, and it just looks brilliant as you turn it in the light. One of the main features of this 3776 Century collection is a slip and seal cap mechanism that actually is spring loaded, so that when you turn the pen the last, like, let's say quarter of a turn, it engages with the plastic cup that's inside of the cap and seals the nib so that it stays fresh for up to 2 years after you ink it. 2 years. Not that I would leave a pen inked for that long without using it, but it's just good to know that if, let's say, I put my pen in my bag or like down on my desk, that a couple days later I go to open and write with it, that the ink is not going to be completely dried out. So, or it's not going to give me any sort of hard starting issues either, which for this nib, it's a 14 karat gold nib that's manufactured by Platinum. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous nib. Writes very much like you would expect a Japanese nib would, so a little bit on the finer side, a little bit more feedback, but such a tight, controlled, precise line. And you could get this 14 karat gold nib in extra fine, fine, medium, or broad. The edition number is actually engraved up at the top here, so there's like a little nut that's inside of the cap finial, and then right outside on the back portion is the edition number that's engraved there, which is pretty cool. And then also on the cap is a 3D sort of embellished cap that just doesn't have the 3776 Century made in Japan engraved in it. It's kind of like comes out at you. So it's a nice like little touch that they did on that just truly makes this a very exquisite pen, and something that stands out really nicely. So you could fill the Shiun up with either the Platinum proprietary converter or a cartridge, which both come with this pen. And like I said, it was 3,776 pieces made worldwide, and usually they go fast, but however this year they really stepped up in the pricing because the value tends to shoot up on these things once they sell out, and they sell out really quickly each year. So I think Platinum kind of got wise to that aftermarket and decided to price these a little bit higher. So originally it's $470 retail, which is, it's a lot, especially when you could get just a regular, let's say, Chartres Bleu or the Bourgogne, if you get those standard finishes with a 14 karat gold nib, mind you, for about like $200, 470 is quite a bit. However, Platinum, in their wisdom, had decided, you know what, let's not force the retailers to sell them at full list price. They're not selling as quickly as they have in years past because of the fact that they're a little bit higher the price, maybe also because it's purple, it's not like as, let's say, you know, general of a color, but now we actually have them on sale for $376. So I know it's still pretty pricey for this type of pen, but when you look at, let's say, the Roca or the Kumpo from years past, you're gonna see that those pens shoot up in value once they end up selling out. So we still do have a good amount of stock on these. They have been selling a lot more frequently as we did drop the price. You would definitely be in a good position to pick one of these up relatively soon before they sell out. At number 2 on our list is the Pilot Limited Edition Vanishing Point 2020 Black Lynx fountain pen. This pen, as you may have seen in last year's top 5 pens, the yearly Pilot Limited Edition tends to hit pretty high with our customers and then stay on the top 5 pens list for a few months in a row because it's just, the Vanishing Point is the quintessential retractable pen. It's renowned throughout the entire world as the best retractable fountain pen. And Pilot, in their ability to really understand that they've got something great here, they went and make a new one every single year that's very, very limited. They match the edition number with the year. So 2020 of these were just made throughout the entire world. So you're talking Pilot, one of the biggest pen manufacturers, one of the biggest fine writing manufacturers in the world, selling pens from the Friction, G2, all the way to these Vanishing Points and Namiki, Urushi, or Yukari type pens, only come out with one reliable limited edition in this Vanishing Point range. And they vary it up a lot. So last year we had the tropical turquoise, which was kind of like a lacquered, marbled sort of turquoise, very aquatic themed. This year is the black lynx, which is very, very conservative, stealthy, and has like a really unique textural aspect to this pen that doesn't quite come across when you just look at it. So this is a black glossy finish that has a guilloche pattern, which really gives this pen a lot of texture. So when you're holding it, you really do feel, it's almost like feeling like the knurled twist top of a Retro 51 pen. It's feeling it throughout the entire barrel. So it provides a whole other dimension, not just kind of visually, but also tactile wise. Like holding this pen is just something else that is a completely different experience that you can't get with any other Vanishing Point that's out there. Also with this pen, you've got stealth matte black trims, clip and click top. The retractable quality on this, it's great. And we know that what's coming soon is the Pilot Vanishing Point LS, which is a significantly upgraded click action mechanism, and we'll end up talking about that soon when it eventually does drop. But this click action mechanism is one of the most reliable things about the Vanishing Point, and the fact that the trapdoor and all that stuff that works with it makes it such a well-used retractable fountain pen, and it's really hard to replicate that, as we saw with, let's say, Pilot's competitor Platinum when they released their retractable fountain pen earlier this year. It's really hard to reproduce this amount of quality and reliability in a retractable fountain pen. The nib that comes with this is an 18 karat gold medium nib. It's like semi-hooded in there. And just to take it apart, this whole nib unit comes out completely separately. This is how you would fill the pen. It has a Con 40 converter, which don't really care for the Con 40 that much. I know a lot of people agree with me on that. I just wish maybe they would have something else like the Con 70 be able to be adaptable for these Vanishing Points, but we'll see, maybe in the future. If you wanted any other nib size besides medium, you could request it in your order comments and we would do our best to oblige. Sometimes we have them available in stock in extra fine, fine, medium, that's here, broad, or 1.0 millimeter stub. You could have them in different ways. You don't need to necessarily have it in just the medium point that it comes with. So what's also unique about this Vanishing Point compared to the other Vanishing Points is this gift box. So this gift box is of course limited edition. You open up the flap here. This is how most of the limited editions come. I think any of the recent ones do anyway. And it sits on this nice little bed that's right here with a sash. And to get to the cartridges, or to the one cartridge, you have to open this flap here and then pull this tab. And you've got yourself one blue ink cartridge and the cartridge cap, which is necessary to put on the back end so that when you reassemble everything, the retraction mechanism works without any hitch. We have limited quantities of the Vanishing Point Black Lynx available right now. It's $286 retail, and that is final retail price. And we expect to probably sell through the rest of them. Maybe this might show up on October's top 5 video. Maybe it might show up in November's. They are selling pretty quickly. We do have this in our magazine. So we do hope that it lasts up until, let's say, mid-November when that does drop. Otherwise, then we're going to be getting a lot of phone calls asking, where's the Black Lynx? I see it in the catalog. I don't see it here. You know, but it should be available, I would say, until then. If you're interested in it and you need to have this as part of your collection, jump on it now. So at number 1 of our top 5 list for September 2020 is a bonanza of Retro 51 pens. I don't mean just any of the ones that you see boxed here, but we are talking about the ones that aren't physically in this shot right now, which Kris will have to help me out here and throw some images overlaid with my jabbering here, which is the Retro 51 Escape limited edition popper. It was crafted after the Aces suit by NASA. It's an orange spacesuit design pen. It has matte black accents, an astronaut helmet top disc, and was limited to 951 pieces worldwide, significant to the Retro 51 brand. It sold out in, I don't know, like 15 minutes. It was that quick, our allocation at least. I know other retailers probably faced a similar situation where a lot of customers could not get their hands on them quick enough. So, but this is what's going to happen. And I kind of warned you about this last month, where I was like, it's going to be really stepped up this fourth quarter with all these releases. And you could expect that going into the rest of the year as kind of Retro 51 does this massive send-off. Then we also have the Marco, which came out in September and pre-sold out in like half an hour, 45 minutes. So the Marco was inspired by famous explorer Marco Polo, of course. It had a graphic design of the entire world map wrapped around the barrel. And it also, if people noticed, they looked really closely, it actually had Antarctica spelled incorrectly on there, which I think was a cool little sort of inconsistency. I know that other things, like if they're misspelled or misprinted, tend to be pretty valuable later on. So I think that might have something to do with it too. It's kind of cool that way. But it also has stonewash pewter accents. It was limited to 957 pieces worldwide, significant to the fact that the world has 57 million square miles on it. So that was another crazy limited edition popper. And also, too, is another popper came out just right at the end of September, which was the Bandit. So the Bandit, which we still have, I still have these three here. We still have them in stock, thankfully. We got a little bit more than we usually do. So, and they were actually limited, instead of just 900 something pieces of just one pen, these are limited to 777 of each pen. So you're talking over 2,000 pens, which I think helps give people just a little bit more time to be able to make a decision about these things and, say, oh, do I want one? Do I just want one? Or do I want three? Or can I collect the whole set? Fill in my collection with this. But these were introduced initially in 2014. And we actually still have the blog post from when we did that all the way back then. I was reading what I was writing back then. And I'm like, oh, man. I come a long way since I first wrote that post, because I was finding a lot of grammatical stuff on there. But yeah, we re-updated it and we put these three new colors to go with the three colors that were done beforehand. I mean, when you look at the prices of those and where they started at and where they are on eBay, you're going to be like, oh, well, $50 for this, that's going to be no problem once they end up selling out and then going way up in price there. But we have three different styles. We have Annie, which is the pink one. We have Doc, which is the turquoise one. And then we have Butch, which is the navy blue. They all have like a very cool sort of bandana design, very like Western and very neat to look at. And also too is that if you, let's say, are a fan of wearing neck gaiters or the bandanas, like when you're going out, I know we're not all fans of doing it, but if you have to and that's the style that you like to rock, then you could go with any of these three Bandits and have a matching pen that goes along with your facial covering there. So this is the things that we have to think about here in 2020. Each of these are $50 a piece. We still have them available at Goldspot. And we also did restock the pizza pen, and this is my pizza pen. I love this design. This is probably like my favorite out of the entire editions that we've commissioned from Retro 51. It speaks to my soul to talk about pizza. Because pizza is such a part of what I feel like my own like childhood and my identity, and growing up in New Jersey. Pizza is part of the culture and the community in ways that you don't realize until you go to other parts of the country that don't have good pizza, and you're forced to look at the hotel menu and they say that the best pizza in town is Papa John's, and you just laugh and kind of cry a little bit on the inside as well. But this pen design, which Kris did a fabulous job with, that replicates the cardboard box design of a pizza box, and not just like any other pizza box like a Domino's or whatever, but this is like the kind of iconography and the kind of style that you would see on a real mom and pop pizza box. And you would see kind of hot words like pizza, oven fresh, hand tossed, and you would have the chef there. He would kind of be giving you his seal of approval and whatnot. And you have like a checkerboard design, so very Italian color scheme, and really it makes my mouth water a little bit, kind of thinking that pizza is coming on the way when I look at this pen. And then we also opted to go with the matte green trim. And what I decided to, and somebody suggested this to me, I was like, how did we not do this? is that I swapped out the black refill that comes with the Ref 5P for a capless green refill to go with the overall theme of the pen. So now I have a green capless rollerball refill in it. It doesn't come like that. There's no option to get the pen to come like that, but that's something that you could order additionally. It's something that I purchased additionally for myself as well, and I just feel like it fits the pen better to have a green refill inside. These are just, like I said, pizza was redelivered. We were running down really low, but that's with our regular editions, just like with coffee. Just like with the ombre pens, these pens are regular edition. They're not limited. So if we do run down on them and they sell out pretty quickly, we order more. However, being that the situation with Retro 51 isn't quite, let's say, clear as far as what's going to happen at the end of the year. I mean, they're saying it's going to be closed or whatever, but they have not, you know, as you've seen with like all the crazy releases going on, it doesn't seem like they're slowing down anytime soon. So we've been able to order, and we still have like a couple of things in the pipeline with them. So I'm really hoping that this could be something that we will still continue in the future. But for right now, enjoy your pizza while it lasts. All right, so what to expect in October? Well, October is already underway. You're watching this video, it is debuting in the midst of October. So what has happened already was that we've launched the Retro 51 hairstyle ombre pens. Just to quickly introduce these, this is Beach Blonde. This is Cosmic Purple Melt. And this is Periwinkle Pixie. Now, so these three pens are an extension of our current ombre set, which include the Tropical Drink ombres and the Blue Lagoon from last year. We decided we really love this style. It's very simple and it's just really well done by Retro. And we're able to provide people with a fun, colorful pen that's a little bit like outside the ordinary and also plays into a lot of the style that we see with ombre hair or ombre nails or just ombre fashion. I mean, it's just everywhere. So this is the reason why we had extended it and decided to go into the hairstyles. And truly the response to it so far has been amazing. People really loved them. So that was our release so far in October. We also have new Narwhal original and Schuylkill pens that are going to be released very shortly. These were also teased on the Narwhal Instagram and Narwhal website. I think certain retailers have already started to sell them overseas and also domestically here. We'll start to carry them and have them ship out from Goldspot pretty shortly. They did upgrade and do a little bit of changes in the design. We have a fine and medium nib, which is pretty exciting. That does bring a lot of interest back into the Narwhal brand. We also have a new Goldspot exclusive from a world-class pen maker. I can't really talk about it that much because I really want to keep you in suspense and keep you engaged with what we have to offer here. And we also have a new brand from a US pen manufacturer. So that's always exciting to kind of work with people domestically here and to really reinvigorate what we have going on here as opposed to outsourcing all the time from outside the US. There's plenty of people here that are hustling small businesses and trying to make this work in this crazy economy that's going on. So anytime that we could do that and support somebody here, it's a fun time for us, and keeping you guys in suspense here because I really want you to follow us and follow also more Retro 51 poppers that are coming like pretty much every other week from now to the end of the year. So there's a lot to keep a lookout for. There's even our weekly dips too. So every week on Wednesday we have a weekly dip, and it's just too much. There's just too much to keep track of at the rest of the latter part of this year. I can't even keep up with all of it. I have to put a calendar down with all this stuff. I know some people have to put reminders for when Retro releases drop so that they can go on and click really quickly to be able to secure their piece. So sign up for our email newsletter, go to our website. There's plenty of links to go and find it there. I'll put a link down below in the description as well. And if you're signed up there, we send out a weekly newsletter on Mondays, let you know everything that's going on. Based if you want to get a weekly dip email, that'll also come too. And then if based on your interest, whether you have a Retro 51 collection or you like purchasing Vanishing Point limited editions, we also send very relevant emails to you there too. So definitely sign up, because it'll keep you abreast of all of the information and keep you locked in to all the awesomeness that's going to be going on and being released throughout the rest of the year. A big thanks to all of you that support Goldspot pens by liking, subscribing, and placing orders on goldspot.com. Stay inky, my friends. Take care.